She was 14 when she told her coach she would be world number 1. They laughed. 3 years later, nobody's laughing anymore. Except maybe her bank account. While tennis waits for the next generation to step up, a teenage Russian is already kicking down the door. Mirra Andreeva isn't just competing with the elite, she's making them look ordinary. It's like watching a high schooler show up at a corporate job and outperform everyone with 20 years of experience.
A teenage triumph in tennis paradise. Mirra Andreeva is the champion in Indian Wells. Truly remarkable.
Top 10 in the world at 17. Let that sink in for a moment. While tennis has always had teenage prodigies, we're in an era where physical maturity and experience usually dominate. The days of 16-year-olds winning Grand Slams seemed behind us. And yet here's Mirra Andreeva, currently sitting at number 7 in the world, before even celebrating her 18th birthday. And she's not just making up the numbers, she's winning the biggest titles. Her breakthrough WTA 1000 victory at Dubai earlier this year sent shockwaves through the tennis world, taking out 3 top 10 players in a single tournament, including a dominant straight sets win in the final. But who exactly is Mirra Andreeva? Born in Krasnoyarsk, Siberia, yes, Siberia, she grew up in extreme cold where tennis facilities were limited at best. Her parents moved the family to Sochi for better training conditions, making enormous sacrifices along the way. Both Mirra and her older sister Erika, also a pro player, shared a single room for years, while their parents worked multiple jobs to fund their tennis dreams. By 12, Mirra was already training at the Mouratoglou Academy in France, the same academy that helped develop Coco Gauff, and where Serena Williams often trained. Her idol, Maria Sharapova, another Russian who dominated as a teenager. When asked about comparisons to Sharapova, Mirra simply said, "I want to win more Grand Slams than her." To put this in perspective, the last woman to finish inside the top 20 while still 17, that was all the way back in 2006. And when we look at tour-level wins before turning 18, Mirra had already amassed 48 by October 2024. That puts her in extremely rare company. Only the great Coco Gauff had more wins at this age in recent history. When we look at teenagers who've had similar early success, the historical pattern is clear. Martina Hingis was world number 1 at 16 and went on to win 5 Grand Slam titles. Maria Sharapova won Wimbledon at 17 and eventually completed a career Grand Slam. Serena Williams claimed her first major at 17 and, well, we all know how that story unfolded. More recently, Iga Świątek won Roland Garros at 19 and has since dominated women's tennis. And Coco Gauff, who broke through as a 15-year-old at Wimbledon, secured her first major at the 2023 US Open when she was 19. Look, I'm not saying Andreeva is the next Serena. That would be ridiculous pressure to put on anyone. That's like telling a kid who wrote a good high school essay that they're the next Shakespeare. But what I'm saying is that when a player shows this level of skill, poise and competitive fire before they're even old enough to vote, history suggests we should pay attention. What's remarkable about these players? They didn't peak as teenagers. Their early success was just the beginning. Almost every woman who reached a Grand Slam semi-final as a teenager went on to win multiple majors in their career. She has that semi-final appearance at the Australian Open, suggesting she's on a similar trajectory. And hey, no pressure, kid, just follow in the footsteps of some of the greatest tennis players ever. And it's not just about results, it's how she's getting them. Take her incredible Roland Garros run in June 2024. As an unseeded teenager, she shocked the tennis world by reaching the semi-finals. The highlight? A stunning quarter-final victory over world number 2 Sabalenka that announced her arrival as a serious Grand Slam contender.
Mirra Andreeva is going to be number 1 in the world at some point. I mean, I watched her more this week continuously because normally it's in a slam, you're watching a million other matches, but she serves so much better than people give her credit for, but then got overpowered. So my biggest question about Andreeva was, is she going to be able to create enough pace not to get overpowered by a Sabalenka, a Świątek? She's beaten both of them. She is an elite mover already.
Then came March 2025. The month Mirra claimed back-to-back WTA 1000 titles. First, Dubai, where she took down multiple top 10 players, including a straight sets win over Świątek in the semis. 2 weeks later at Indian Wells, she defeated number 1 Sabalenka in a thrilling 3-set final. These consecutive major titles propelled her into the top 10 and put the entire tour on notice. But what makes Andreeva truly special isn't just her results, it's how she's achieving them. While most young players rely purely on raw talent or power, Mirra's game is already remarkably complete, and nowhere is this more evident than in her return of serve. Forget her age for a moment. Mirra is statistically one of the best returners on the entire WTA tour right now. In 2024, she won a higher percentage of first serve return points than anyone else in women's tennis. Even against top 20 players, she ranks third in this crucial category, trailing only the current world number 1 and 3. Watch her anticipation here. Unlike most players her age who struggle with the pace and placement of elite serves, Mirra reads the serve early, takes the ball on the rise, and immediately puts her opponent on the defensive. While most players would be content just getting the ball back in play, Andreeva is already thinking about how to control the point from the return. It's like she has some tennis version of Spidey senses. You know how Peter Parker knows danger is coming before it happens? Well, Mirra seems to know where the serve is going before the server. Of course, there's been controversy too. That infamous racket throw at Wimbledon and earned her a point penalty. And who can forget her on-court frustrations when things aren't going her way? Look, I get it. We expect teenagers to be perfect robot ambassadors, but let's be real. When I was 17, I was having meltdowns over calculus homework. She's having hers while millions watch. These fiery moments aren't flaws. They're signs of the competitive drive that separates good players from the all-time greats. As McEnroe would say,
"You cannot be serious! That ball was..."
If you think passion is a bad thing, her baseline game draws comparisons to fellow Russian Daria Kasatkina, recently defected to Australia. Both excel in longer rallies with tactical precision rather than overwhelming power. But here's where Andreeva shows her genius. She's absolutely lethal in those medium-length exchanges. While the tour average for winning 4 to 6 shot rallies hovers around 48%, Andreeva's conversion rate is pushing 54%. That might not sound huge, but in tennis those marginal gains are everything. It's like she has this sweet spot where she's already settled into the point, but her opponent hasn't yet established their rhythm. The data shows she's winning these medium rallies at a higher rate than even Świątek in their head-to-head matchups. Those rallies are often where power players try to dominate, but Mirra's technique allows her to absorb pace and counterpunch. She's consistently turning defense into offense with remarkable poise. She also has this uncanny ability to hit winners from defensive positions, something we usually associate with peak Djokovic or Murray. Where Andreeva really separates herself from other young talents is her point construction. She's not just hitting the ball back, she's setting up points 3 or 4 shots in advance. Her rally tolerance is off the charts, especially for someone her age. When most teenagers would go for low-percentage winners out of impatience, Mirra is comfortable extending rallies until she creates the perfect opening. Her defensive skills are already world-class. In her match against Świątek in Indian Wells, there were at least 5 points where Iga hit what would be winners against 90% of the tour, only for Mirra to not just get the ball back, but turn the point around completely. It's this combination of defense and counterpunching that makes her such a nightmare matchup for the tour's biggest hitters. What's most exciting? Her biggest weakness is the one area players tend to improve most throughout their careers. Her service game, while solid for her age, still has significant room for growth. In 2024, Andreeva won around 58.4% of her service points, about average for the top 50. But considering her return game is already elite, even a moderate improvement in her serve could catapult her to the very top of the sport. The numbers tell the story. Looking at her matches in early 2024 versus her recent tournaments, there's already been significant improvement. Her first serve percentage has jumped from 62% to 67%, and her service speed has increased by about 5 miles per hour on average. This isn't just natural physical development, it's evidence of deliberate technical work. I mean, imagine improving your serve that much in just a few months. That's like going from a Honda Civic to a Ferrari without changing cars. Most players spend years trying to add 5 miles per hour to their serve. She's done it while most kids her age are still trying to perfect their TikTok dances. Think about Victoria Azarenka's career path. She broke through as an incredible returner with a decent serve. But when she improved her service game a couple of years later, it unlocked Grand Slam titles and the world #1 ranking. If Mirra can make a similar leap, increasing her serve point win percentage to around 61%, statistically she'd be not just a top 10 player, but potentially fighting for #1 and multiple Grand Slams. One underrated aspect of Andreeva's game is her adaptability. In her Dubai run, she showcased different game plans for different opponents. Against Rybakina, she neutralized the big serve with deep returns. Against Świątek, she varied her pace and spins to disrupt Iga's rhythm. And, against Sabalenka in Indian Wells, she used her incredible movement to turn the match into a physical battle that frustrated the Belarusian. This tactical flexibility is rare for a player so young. Most teenagers have one game plan, the one that got them to the tour in the first place. Andreeva already understands the chess match aspect of tennis at the highest level. And here's what should terrify the rest of the tour. Her work ethic is legendary. Her coach says she routinely asks for extra practice sessions, studies match footage obsessively, and has the kind of self-discipline most players twice her age struggle to maintain. When most teenagers are scrolling TikTok, she's analyzing her opponent's service patterns. During Indian Wells, her coach Conchita Martinez revealed that Mirra kept a detailed notebook with notes on every potential opponent, their tendencies, patterns, and weaknesses. This level of preparation and professionalism from a 17-year-old is almost unheard of. The scary thing for her opponents, Andreeva is still growing, both physically and as a player. Her coach mentioned that she's grown an inch in the past year alone, which explains the improvements in her serve. As her frame fills out and she gains more physical strength, those already solid ground strokes will become even more dangerous. Tennis history tells us that the players who break through this young usually go on to define their era. Mirra isn't just threatening to join the elite, she's showing signs that she might eventually lead it. With her remarkable return skills, tactical maturity, growing collection of titles, and clear pathway for improvement, Mirra Andreeva isn't just a future star. She's already arrived. The question isn't if she'll reach the top, it's how long she'll stay there and how many Grand Slams she'll collect along the way. Crazy to think that in 2035, when I'm desperately clinging to my youth with overpriced anti-aging creams, Andreeva will still only be 28 and potentially in the prime of her career. And if her development continues at this pace, we might be talking about her in the same conversation as the all-time greats. What do you think? Is Mirra Andreeva on track to become the next dominant force in women's tennis? Or will the pressure of early success prove too much? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the breakdown, please like this video and subscribe, it will mean a lot. Thanks for watching.